We are live. Share the video. Share the video. Welcome to Open Table. Yes. Open Table. Open Table. Yeah, we're in studio. For the main desk Open Table. Well, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, live, we're coming again today. This show Open Table. April 22, 2023, we are in studio. Honorable Jan Nadai Fulula, the favorite song of Niba County. Thank you very much. The chairman is out of state. The chairman I travel again. Oh my goodness, the chairman I travel again. Just OP table. No, we're not going nowhere to the top of the discussion. With the community issue. With Jan Nadai Fulula, honorable chairman. Thank you very much. The Gorilla SYZ is the humble servant. I'm here today, not playing around here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we have so many things to discuss today in studio. Got so many to discuss in studio. We got a new agenda. This community has been for your power. We got to come and rescue the community. That's what Open Table is here. When things are happening in the community, we got to come and broadcast them. We got to bring the news to the people. That's why we are all in your TV, your speakers. We are in your phone, your smartphones. That's why we are here. We are coming in. We apologize. Last weekend was around. But Honorable Menyan and that Fulula and Jamache lock it down. Kudos to the gentleman. Yan and that Fulula and Jamache was on Open Table. While the co-chair and the chairman was there around. But now we have come again to get some breakdown, get some news to the different people in this community in the wildlife. Well, we have some stuff on our agenda. Jamache is in the news. Jamache is in the news. Samba is in the news. Oh my goodness. Your youth and sport department. Samba finally resigned from the community. Samba has resigned from his post. Samba has resigned. Samba is a breaking news in this community. LA, breaking news. Samba, the youth chair, the chairman of the youth in this community has finally resigned. Samba is in your resignation. He said, I don't want to work with this administration. There's a lot of things going on. Things are head to scatter. Is the vice president running this community or is the president running the community? That and many more. Open Table. We'll also be touching on the president letter. The president Julius Parker. The president Julius Parker letter to the community. The president Julius Parker. The president of the community. We're going to be touching on his letter. Thank you very much. We got a lot of things on our agenda. This Open Table. Yan and that privilege in studio. We'll also be touching on Robert Carey versus Jamache. Is the RRC chairman trying to take over from the Secretary General? Oh my goodness. Power greed in the community. The community is falling apart. Oh my goodness. Jamache, the RRC chairman. Jamache, the RRC chairman. Jamache, RRC chairman are going against Robert Carey. Robert Carey is the general secretary in this community. Robert Carey was voted overwhelmingly in this community. Jamache, you are in the news. Thank you very much. Jamache versus Robert Carey. Carey Mayache versus Robert Carey in this community. Oh my goodness. The secretary general and the RRC chairman. Oh my goodness. This Open Table. Jamache. A court. Carey is struggling for power struggle. Jeremiah Che said Kerry is talking about power struggle. Jeremiah Che, a court. Jeremiah Che, a court. Kerry is struggling for power struggle. Thank you very much. That's Obi Table. Obi Table is giving the news. This Obi Table. Prince Richard Boyer, the vice president of this community, Prince Richard Boyer is in the news. Prince Richard Boyer is in the news. Mr. Boyer, this is not the Unipoa. This is not Unipoa. This is the Liberian Association of Indiana. Stay tuned. Everyone in this community, people in the world, Liberian land. Prince Richard Boyer, the vice president of this community, is in the news. Is Prince Richard Boyer trying to take over from the president? The president have not traveled. The president is in the state of Indiana. But Mr. Boyer said, I will run things while the president is here. That and many more on Obi Table. Yan in that follow left. The favorite son never Kante. Obi Table, Obi Table, Obi Table, Obi Table. Prince Richard Boyer is running the community while the president is still alive. The president stay in the community. Prince Richard Boyer said, I will run the community on the hookahs table. I'll run the community on the alcohol table. I'll run the community wherever I go. I can do anything. I am the vice president. But we say no to you. It's a caveat to you, Mr. Prince Richard Boyer. We say this community does not belong to the vice president. You have to wait. The president have to tell you to act before you act. This Obi Table. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. This Obi Table is a caveat to you, Mr. Prince Richard Boyer. You gotta act accordingly. Act accordingly. The community is watching. This Obi Table. We are here. It's a breaking news in the community. Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. Prince Richard Boyer is taking over for the president. Is that power struggle? Prince Richard Boyer is running the community from the hookahs table. Is this how it's supposed to be? We said no to that. That's why we have come. We have come again to give some news to the Liberian people in this community and the world large. Stay tuned. Young Fulula. Yeah, Young Fulula, favorite song, Niba Kante. How you doing, sir?
Well, thank you, Mr. SYZ. Thank you so much for everything. I'm doing great.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Fulula. It's a pleasure to have you in studio. It's a pleasure to have you in studio. Yeah, we are here discussing the Liberian people stuff, discussing what we love to discuss most, because we love this community. So we will not sit and allow this community to fall apart. That's why we have come again to let Liberian people know that Obi Table have come again to give some information that is very understandable to our people, to the audience in the young in this community. There's the need that we come together as people in this community to forge ahead. Honorable Chairman, are you there?
Yeah, the Honorable Chairman here. I just added Honorable Chairman.
Honorable Chairman, no problem. But we'll keep running. We got to dive straight into the issue, Mr. Fulula.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to be discussing Mr. Jeremiah Che letter. Mr. Jeremiah Che letter.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. Let me share that letter. Be talking while I share the letter.
Yeah. Thank you very much. You know, there's an issue in this community. Mr. Che came out and Mr. Che wrote a letter to the community. Let's say to not to the community, but to Ronan Koi, to reinstate Ronan Koi. But the issue is, I want for the community to be aware that how come you are trying to reinstate Ronan Koi when Ronan Koi was never appointed by the president? You know. That is paradoxic. You know, it's paradox. In literature, that's we say paradox. That means it's contradicting the Mr. Chairman, are you on? Mr. Fulula, can you zoom the letter so the people can see?
Okay, hold on.
Yes, yeah. I'm listening.
Yeah. So Mr. Che came out, he said I want for the letter to get bigger so the people can see. Anyway, I'll just give a summary. The main thing in the letter that I took out is the reinstatement of Mr. Roland.
No, this is not the letter.
Yeah, go back and find the letter because it's too big. It's not supposed to be like that. Look for the letter. Hold on, I'm here. I think I should have that letter real quick because when I speak from fight. Yeah, where is this letter? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Y'all really got it?
I got a letter. Hold on.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Anyway, before y'all bring the letter, I'll be giving some summary about this identical stuff that is unfolding in the community. Mr. Che came up with a letter. He wrote a letter. He said Roland Quay was reinstated. First of all, I want to make the Liberian people understand in this community that Roland Quay was never appointed by the president, neither the vice president. Roland Quay was serving on.
Is the letter bigger enough?
No, people will not see it. People who have problem with their eyes will not see it. You gotta zoom a little bit, but if we cannot zoom it, it can be like let people know that that's a letter we're discussing. I can see the image from my cousin. My cousin knows it's in the news. The door is open. Yeah. The chairman, my cousin know that he's in the news. He's aware. Yeah. So this is an issue. Mr. Che, Jeremiah Che came up with this letter, and then the thing in the letter that I want to discuss is this. He said,
"Can you read the letter? Can you read the letter? Is there any way that we can read the letter?"
It's okay. We can read it. It's okay. It's fine. The letter is there. I need to see it. This is the thing. Jeremiah Che came out. He said that Roland Quay have been reinstated. The first thing I want for Mr. Che to understand is that Roland Quay was never appointed by the president, neither the vice president. Roland Quay was working directly proportional to that of the chairman of the youth chair, Sir Samba. Sir Samba came out, he appointed Roland Quay to serve as a coach for the Lone Star of Liberia. Of Indiana, not Liberia, of Indiana. And then there was a thing pop up in the community the other day when you guys went on the show when Roland Quay heard his name. He felt disenchanted. Roland Quay went ahead. He resigned from the U.S. Department. Roland Quay resigned, and then he went to Mr. Logan's hours and he discussed the issue, the reason why he resigned, and then the game that was canceled by the president, according to Mr. Akoye, he said the game was canceled by the president. It was a mandate passed by the president, executive order by the president that there will be no soccer game because we are bereaving this community. That which is true. We are bereaved, and every one of us here, we are in sympathy. We are grieving right now. You know, we sympathize with the bereaved family. We are here. It's a good idea. Even me, I embrace the idea that the game should be canceled. That's a good thing. But there's a thing. When Roland Quay appeared on Philly Logan show, he came out with these words, and then he said he felt disenchanted that the game was canceled, and he's still going to call the guys from Louisville and other places, and then they're going to have their game. The tournament going to still go on. Okay, we understand, Mr. Roland Quay, the tournament is going on, but there's an issue. The issue is Roland Quay already resigned. When he went on the show, he explained all these things, and then it wasn't even 24 hours. It wasn't even 2 hours when Mr. Jeremiah Che came out with a letter stating that Mr. Roland Quay had been reinstated. So how can this man be reinstated when he was not appointed by the president? Mr. Fulula. Hello, Fulula? Mr. Fulula, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
You gotta stay on. It can't be going. You gotta stay on. You gotta be very serious around here. We're not playing fun.
I'm here.
So there's a question. Why is it that you can remove the letter now? You can remove the letter, Mr. Fulula. You can remove the letter. So the issue is, why is it that Mr. Jeremiah Che wrote this letter when the president did not approve for him to write the letter? So where did the letter come from, Mr. Fulula?
Well. Let me get light to myself right here real quick.
Mr. Fulula, your image is dunkling.
Okay. All right.
I can still see you clear. You are very dark. You know, I'm darker than you, and on the show I'm clearer than you. Then what's the problem? Mr. Philip, what are you doing?
Okay. I will fix that while I talk.
Yeah, fix it now. Philip, fix it now. You are changing stuff. People got to see you.
No, I was outside and
So Philip, you got to fix your stuff. You can't be changing stuff.
Can people see me now?
Yeah, we can see you, but you look some kind of way. Anyway, go ahead. That's your image. That's how you want to be. Go ahead.
I will fix it. All right.
Okay.
Mr. Chie, we saw the letter. We woke up to the letter. The letter was sent.
The chairman is here. Honorable Chairman, how you doing, sir? Hello, Honorable Chairman.
Yes, sir. I'm fine. I'm listening.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Mr. Fulula.
Yeah, we woke up to the letter. The letter was sent around 6 o'clock that time. So we woke up to the letter that day. And the letter was discussed, massively in the chat room. The letter caused a lot of, feelings in the chat room. But I don't know how Mr. Chie came out with this letter. The president came out with some statement about this letter that he did not approve this letter. The question here is, Chie got to tell us who gave him the go-ahead to publish this letter and why is it that the communication did not come from the Secretary General and it coming from Chie. So Chie came out. I don't know if he apologized or not on this letter. We don't know yet. But Chie got to know the function. That's why I asked Chie in the chat room what is the position or jurisdiction in this administration, because he have to understand his limit and his boundaries of doing things. So the Secretary General is still alive and he's still functioning. He's still energetic. So why is it that Chie coming up with communication that the Secretary General not in the know of and the president not in the know of? Is the vice president in the know of? Is the vice president in the know of this letter? That's the question.
So, Mr. Fulula.
Yeah.
I thought the Secretary General travel because I see Chie all active in the chat room, posting stuff here and there, switching like a pendulum. What is going on? Is the Secretary General still in the community?
No, the Secretary General is here and he live here. He have not traveled. He live here and what I talked with the Secretary General, like I think 2 days ago. The Secretary General told me that it will be the last time that Chie going to challenge him in public, and the next time it happens, he's going to go loose. So, and he said he have already told the president and the vice president that they should tell the Secretary General to say the IRC chair to stay away from his lane because everybody had their lane in this administration. The Secretary General, one thing Chie got to understand is the Secretary General is not fighting anybody for this position. The Secretary General was overwhelmingly elected. In fact, when the Secretary General raised his hand to run in this community, everybody went in that chair. Nobody could run against the Secretary General. The Secretary General was relaxed, because they know his competence, they know his potential. That's why, people could not even raise their hand to go against him. So if Chie is doing this for the Secretary General to say, I will resign, then he don't know who he's dealing with. He's dealing with somebody who is very stubborn more than him. The mayor, he got a security background. He's from defense ministry in Liberia. He served the whole nation on the army level. So the community cannot even make him to resign his post. So Chie got to understand who he's dealing with. And at the end of the day, is that Chie, your hand going to leave in the hot water instead of the Secretary General leaving.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jan Fulula. Just trying to say that the Secretary General is still alive. Secretary did not travel. He's here. But Mr. Chie, who is, I think he's acting. I don't know. Maybe one day we got to call the Secretary General for him to say something, because I thought the Secretary General told Mr. Chie to be acting as the Secretary General while he's away. But you told me that he's here. So, Mr. Chairman, what is your take on Mr. Chie acting like the Secretary General in the community? What is your take on that? Honorable Chairman, are you there? Can you hear me?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I reiterate, I said the Secretary General is staying here. According to Jan Folule, I thought the Secretary General traveled to Liberia, but the Secretary General is here. But Mr. Chie is moving like a pendulum, switching, posting, doing things in the community. Like I thought he was acting as a Secretary General while the Secretary General is away. But Mr. Folule just gave me the breaking news that the Secretary General is stay here. So what is your take on Mr. Chie posting in the chat room like the Secretary General, or he posting and like he acting like the Secretary General? So what is your take on Mr. Chie action letters concerning Roland Okoye being reinstated, and the reinstatement aspect where Mr. Roland Okoye was never appointed by the president or the vice president? What is your take on that, Mr. Chairman?
You have a little bit of a loaded question that I will try to address a little bit. First of all, there's no doubt that Robert Kiri is capable to do the job of a Secretary General. However, Chie also is a fine gentleman. Now, when we are talking about acting as the assistant or acting as a Secretary General, maybe there's a need for people to understand their role, and that's the first thing. I think she had made some mistakes as IRC chairperson. I think some of the things he did is supposed to come from the office of the Secretary General. However, we should not try to create or stir the pot when the pot has already been stirred. But I can understand people having their opinions. And it's true that Mr. Kiri is not liking some of the moves. And I spoke to him. I'm pretty sure that he's right as a Secretary General. The letter that came out concerning Roland Okoye was something that's supposed to come from the desk of the Secretary General. However, we have to ask who allowed or who authorized that letter. I'm pretty sure that Mr. Chie didn't perform or go ahead to do something just by himself. Was the letter authorized by the president, or was the letter authorized by the vice president? And now I'm hearing from my brother, the young Vulu, and a few other associates that the letter was authorized by the vice president. So if the vice president authorized the letter that Chie put outside, even the vice president is into some chaotic behavior. Because the vice president now is running a whole branch of government. That is not his idea to be authorizing things when the president didn't read them, not approve them. So if the vice president working with Chie as they open their own mini office, do we have two LAI? Because if Chie is operating and crossing path over the Secretary General and is being approved by the vice president is doing a little too much. Now, I will have to caution you on this open platform to stop that, to stop and desist from those behavior. Every authorization should come from the higher up, and that's from the president. In the absence of the president, he can go ahead and do these things. Well, I'm pretty sure that Mr. Parker has been around for the past few weeks. So you cannot be authorizing things in the presence of your president. And then Chie will have to work closely hand with Mr. Robert Kiri. I really didn't to honest. I really didn't like the fact that he addressed the general secretary in the open. But we are all humans. I believe that was a mistake. I think he will learn from that. If you have been into security and any type of administration, you learn to deal with things behind closed doors. Because dealing with them in the open just create a whole lot of chaos, and people will take side, and that's where we are now.
Thank you very much. That's the voice of the Honorable Chairman Joseph Azikizan Sede Jr. on Obi table. But Mr. Chairman, I heard you talking about the vice president overruling the president. So, do you think there will be some like a power struggle, like the vice president trying to remove the president and then sit as a president, as a sitting president? Do you think that's what he's trying to do?
I won't say much of a power struggle. I would say it's something that I think the vice president is acting a little bit too hyper, like a kid in a candy store. You cannot have all the
when they take too much sugar, then they get hyper.
Yeah, you cannot have all the sweet. He needs to slow down.
Okay.
He needs to slow down. I don't think it's a power struggle. I think it's a thing that I'm looking at that he's doing a little bit too much. That he needs to slow down. And I'll speak to him as a brother, and that's why I'm speaking from that angle. If you have a president, a sitting president that is around, you have to communicate with him on most of these things before authorizing them. You cannot be running a separate branch of government in the presence of the president. Anything that will come to your attention, you place the call. And I'm pretty sure that Mr. Parker didn't read that announcement that came out. That's why I think the vice president is doing a little bit too much. He needs to dilute his ego a little bit, slow down on the sweet, and try to cultivate his emotions. These things will put you into the trash bin of society very quick. As a vice president, you don't want people to start frowning on you. You will fall out of grace very soon, and that's the path he's following.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. It's a breaking news. It's a breaking news on Open Table. The vice president taking too much candy. That's why he's hyper. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's the voice of the chairman. Mr. Volo, so what is your take on this, Mr. Vice President, to rallying over the president when it comes to this community, approving messages, letters, and stuff that the president is not aware of? What is your take on that?
Thank you. The vice president has lived long enough to know the story of Ino Doboye, the former vice president of Charles Taylor, and know the story of Moses Blah, the former vice president of Taylor as well. They were beaten in a mattress for such a behavior like this. So the president and the vice president, you can easily fall in that category to be whipped in a mattress. You know, when Taylor went to Ghana, Moses Blah, when people were talking in the ears of Moses Blah, when Taylor came back, you know what happened to him? He was whipped in a mattress. So the vice president, I want to caution him on his public, platform to really slow down. That put off on the side. This is serious. This have the propensity of dividing our community and also breaking down the association as well. And this administration came into being on a very good platform, and we are still looking up to them to deliver to the community. So the only way they can deliver is all of them work in those that are serving, they work in collaboration with one another to bring the vision to light. The vice president had to take that to consideration. Consultation is the key to administration. You got to consult. Do not act on emotion. Don't act because you have some personal vendetta against somebody or you want to flex muscle. It's not leadership. If you are in administration, you have to be slow to react to a situation. In fact, you should be the last in the room to say something. That's what leadership is about.
Mr. Fulula, let me buttress a little bit and ask some questions to what you are explaining right now. The other day, I heard you saying that these information sometime before the president be communicating from the hookah's table. How did you get that information? You said the vice president be communicating from the hookah's table. How did you come out with that?
I didn't say that.
What did you say? Can you quote
that? I said the vice president and chair always together. So the action of chair have to be have to come from the vice president.
Uh-huh.
It have to come from the vice president. We don't need a sand quarter or a soothsayer to tell us where the action of Chair coming from.
Thank you
Chair
very
have
much.
to be in power. Chair have to be in power some type of way to behave like that. If Chair don't have some heavy weight behind him, he won't have done why he did or why he is doing.
So, Mr. Vulula, so in a nutshell, the heavy weight that is beyond Mr. Jeremiah Chie is from the vice president.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The number to call is 317-717-1162. The number to call OP table. The number to call is 317-717-1162. I think we should be diving a little bit, switching the pendulum to Samba letter. The youth and sport chairperson who had just resigned abruptly. So, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
What is the take on Samba resigning? His letter he posted in the chat room that he had finally resigned.
First of all, Samba is a family man. Mr. Samba, he has his.
Chairman, before you go, we're having a call from Anthony Gavler.
All right, you can go ahead.
Yeah.
Call it first.
Hello, Mr. Gavler, the pioneer of this community.
Hello, the big table.
How you doing, sir?
Good. I'm here to talk about just one or two things. But first, I want to start with a letter.
Go ahead.
Before then, I'm going to make a backtrack to respond to some statement that was made by Roland Akwe on the Logis Hour.
Go ahead.
I heard Roland said he accepted to work with Samba so they can take the young men from the streets to play ball.
Uh-huh.
But I did not hear he call, and all the people he called, unless they are in the street, like Jeremiah Chie. Is he a street guy?
No.
Peter Harris, is he a street guy?
No.
And all the players I see play, I don't see any of them from the street. So I think he needs to apologize for making that statement to warn his players that, I took it to take the boy from the street. So I was kind of like, wow, are we having Nakarandas around here? And really, I couldn't say either for trouble. But the people that he called and played for the team, none of them is from the street. They all are married, they got homes and family. So I think really I couldn't apologize for that.
Thank you very much.
The next one is about the letter. I think Che is really too fast. And even he had to write that, I think he should have a system in place that every communication before it's published on any app or any other platform, either the president or the secretary general should read it and make sure it's approved before it's being published.
Yeah.
Because what it does is when those kind of letters go out and the president is called to question, he won't know what to say. Okay?
Yeah.
So I think the president needs to put his guys in check and let them know that, hey, this is the chain of command.
Okay.
Before anything is put out there, they don't have full knowledge of it because at the end of the day, I'm the one being put in the hot seat. Okay? And Chair being the security man, NSA guy, I think you need to apply some of those tactics, how to send information out, intelligence out. They don't just take it and put it to the press and go to a review board and make sure it's authentic before it's put out there. So Chair need to learn from that. And with the situation where he and the Secretary General, I think the Vice President and the President need to come sit down and draw out their rules. All right? It seems that they are all acting like a kind of overhead bridges.
Yeah.
Okay? So I think they need to do this.
So, Mr. Anthony Gavler.
Yeah.
So are you trying to say that Mr. Chie and that of the Vice President, they don't understand bureaucracy?
I do not want to be too fast to say that. I think it's just a matter of how to channel their functions.
Okay.
So I do not know if I know they are all bodies. Okay, they're all in the battle group. Maybe they all get together, and maybe because of that, if the backing or not, but I think they need to come up with some kind of operating procedure.
So does that mean that Ninibwa is trying to take over the community through the vice president and that of Mr. Chie?
I'm forced to say yes. Okay, but the fact is that let us see where they are, and they have their own stand up. Let it be followed through. Ninibwa, I know there's a reason why they are organized, and I'm sure they will pursue that. LDI is the DC on their mind.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was the voice of the pioneer of this community, Mr. Anthony Gavler, who have come up with a very good point in this community, and he's still doing it. Long live Mr. Anthony Gavler. Long live Anthony Gavler. Yes, Mr. Chairman, you were propounding. Hello,
Yeah,
Chairman, are you there?
Yeah, the issue. Yeah. Thanks to Mr. Gavler for diving in and pointing out a few things. First of all, the statement by Rona Akwe, it was reckless. It's just reckless and ridiculous.
Yeah.
Indiana community is one of the most vibrant and very well community in this communities in America as a whole.
Yeah.
We don't have many street kids. Most of these kids that he's coaching or he has the privilege to be around, they are from homes. And even the adults that are playing on that team, they are taking care of their homes. Chie and a few others, they are good people that they are doing things, taking care of families. So for him to say the idea was to have people coming from the street. I think he's thinking about ATU time or somewhere back then in the night. This is not ATU time or Law Rebel time. We don't have street kids. We have something else, and we have to be very careful with words, how we use them, because when you start talking about taking these kids from the street, then people will be like, "Wow, there's so many street kids in Indiana." But that's some of the problems. And to be frank, Mr. Sambat led to a few things. I spoke to the man. Like I said, the man is a family man. I think there was a little bit of miscommunication between there. I think Mr. Parker made a mistake. First of all, to have two people working together, that usually I think that decision are almost aligning. You have to have difference of opinions. When you have two people that are just doing things or whatsoever and trying to make things or have to push a certain agenda, and then we have something that we have to look at very, very carefully. I don't want to cause Sa and Bernice opposition, but that's how people look at it that way. So when they come out with decision or go ahead and decide to do things, people look at it from an opposition standpoint, for which I think they didn't help themselves as well. Trying to do everything. Most times, sometimes they were right, sometimes they were wrong. But you cannot always have to make decisions against government. Now, Sa has some very good points, especially concerning his complaints. But sometimes the way he go about them is very detrimental. He hurt himself in the way he pursue his concerns. Now, we have that letter. First of all, you resign, or you're trying to resign. You shouldn't be putting a letter out to the public, except the administration put it out. First and foremost. So that's my take on that. You put it to the administration. The administration put it out, and they proceed.
Thank you very much. That's the voice of the Honorable Chairman. Honorable Chairman, I quote, Roland Akwe's statement was reckless. Roland Akwe's statement, Roland Akwe, wherever you are, your statement against the young people, against the youth of this community, it was reckless, and there's no place of that statement in this community. We say no to that type of statement in this community. So Roland Akwe, you're in the news now. You got your choice of words was poor to the community. Mr. Akwe, take time how you use words in this community against the young people. You say taking young people from the street. Now you're in the news. You got to be aware of words that you use in this community. And Mr. Fuller, what is your take on the letter that came from the chairman of the Youth and Sport Department, Mr. Samba?
You know,
his resignation.
First of all, since Sir Sama was appointed, the action of Sir Sama have always been like he was trying to push a button to prove a point, and his behavior was like, I'm going to do it. If they say something, then I will just blow off, in our Liberian way, right?
Yeah.
That's how it is. That's how it was. So every time, the administration come up with decision, so will kick against it, even though he part of the administration. He would kick against it, and he would just go about just saying this administration, they're not moving ahead, they're not doing this, they're not doing that, they're not doing the right thing, they're not moving in the right direction. What is the right direction? Bring it on board. Let look into it and see if the majority of the administrators we agree on, then we can go with it. But that particular time, when what led to this letter was the bereaved family came up with a date to put their son to rest.
Yeah.
And I solely believe that in that meeting, the co-chairman of the youth department, Bernice Arthur, was in that meeting when the bereaved family, the chairlady rather. Yeah. She was at that meeting when the bereaved family came up with that decision. But when she was in that meeting, when she got out of that meeting, I don't know what she told Sir or what she didn't tell Sir. Sir went straight in the administrative chat room where you started putting out that was emotion. That was very emotional. How they cancel the activity that were planned by Ronnie Akwe, along with the youth department, the administration. They have taken executive order. What they were forgetting to know that the administration cannot dictate to the bereaved family. They are bereaved, they're grieving. Whatever time they choose to lay their son to rest, so they can move forward with other activity with the family. That's why the only thing the administration did was to endorse the decision of the family. Now, for Sir to call the administration, he went straight in the chat room, started putting out emotions, how people, in fact, they call it Logan Hour. The Logan Hour pick it up from there. Logan Hour say, in fact, the president took executive order, misquoting everything that was said. You seen it? Mm-hmm. So this particular letter, coming to this letter now.
Yeah.
This show to Sir, they just define, their letter just define who Sir is administratively. Mm-hmm. He is very emotional. He acts on his emotion. He allowed his emotion to take over him. And he was running the youth department with emotion.
But Mr. Purula, let me inject a little bit, because you said something. So does that mean that Sir Sama wasn't aware of the communication that went on in the meeting? So does that mean he wasn't in the meeting?
He was not in the meeting, but the co-chair was there. Then who was there now? He was there as well. If the co-chair was in a meeting that the meeting that brought up about the date, I don't know what was the communication with the co-chair, and I call it. Sir came up with a statement about that particular date. This, I would say, the same evening or the next day, gave the administration chance if they're going to reach out to you to inform you about the bereaved family date. He did not do that. He went straight with it. He started running with it. He started giving misinformation, and the misinformation went to Ronnie Akwe, and Ronnie Akwe too did not ask questions. He did not call to find out if this was the thing that was going on or not. And Ronnie Akwe too acted on his emotion. He allowed his emotion to take over him. He withdrew from the youth department. Ronnie Akwe, there's not Ronnie Akwe first time doing that. Ronald Akwe did that again during Tati administration. He withdrew from certain activity. So if we're going to run this community, let us not put our personal problem or our personal emotion ahead of us. Let us focus on the community and run this community with respect for one another and with respect for those that we are serving as well.
Thank you, Mr. Flora.
Okay, yeah, few things. Let me interject before Mr. Co-chairman Ezwazi before you
Go
proceed.
ahead.
Very quick. One thing Jan is explaining. Maybe there's a form of communication that is not going well, especially in the absence of SAR. When his co-chairperson is representing him, why is she telling him that is raising some of those emotions and concerns? Is she giving him the facts whenever she attends the meeting? Because most time I think he's relying on her. Is he really just 100% believing whatever she's bringing at his desk? So sometimes people can polish information. I'm not saying Bernice is doing that, or maybe she's not giving him the rightful information or the right way. However, he should be able to at least try to cultivate his emotions in addressing these concerns. I told him to place the call to people like the president, the vice president, and ask them directly. I don't take the fact that you go on public platform and desire to latch. Concerning Mr. Ronald Akwe, he said Open Table is administration channel or
Radio.
sorry, yeah. Mr. Akwe again is very reckless with words.
No, you have to say Mr. Ronald Akwe.
Mr. Yeah, I'm saying Mr. Ronald Akwe before people be thinking say is the co-chairman. I will try to distinguish that. Mr. Ronald Akwe is very reckless with words. Look, we are always leading the agenda to criticize this administration whenever it's necessary.
Yep.
I don't think it was Logan Howard that was beating on this administration when the inaugural committee had problems. It was the same Open Table that was beating on this administration.
Yeah.
We always speak to issue because we are guys with integrity. We're not going to compromise our integrity because look, Mr. Parker, not Rachel Boyer or Kiri Piff, or penny, not a penny they are paying to this Open Table. Matter of fact, we give them free time. We are not just here running with propaganda and whatsoever. So, Mr. Akwe, all others that have things against Open Table, that want to vent their emotions, because sometimes they are very emotional. All those that want to make mention of Open Table and cannot say it in our face, we are extending a platform to you. If you want to come over here, we have space. We can accept more than 12 people on this panel list for you to come and tell why you believe so. Do not do it so cowardly. Try to mention Open Table or without mentioning Open Table and just be trying to throw hits. For me, I don't believe in the chick behavior. I'm a grown man now. I'm a father figure, so I believe that if you want to say things, you say and you speak it with your chest. But Open Table will never be, shall never be associated to any administration. We will speak true whenever it's necessary, and we will defend whenever it's necessary.
Thank you very much. Ronald Akwe said in a quote, Open Table is a government radio, Sky FM, that's Case FM, that's Chancellor Radio in Liberia. But Ronald Akwe, I spoke with Ronald Akwe. The quotation was, I spoke with him after the show, and then when he went on Logan Hour, he said this Open Table is a government radio because Mr. Volule and that of Mr. Sele working in the government and working in Mr. Parker's government. So that makes this Open Table a government radio, and we have to disprove that we're not government radio. So if we can come out and disprove the guys that we don't belong to the government, we move on. So, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Volule, you have anything about the letter that was written by Mr. Sar Samba, or you want to move on to the president's letter?
Mr. Sar Samba letter was reckless. It was very unprofessional. First of all, when you are resigning from administration, write your letter directly to the president. it is the president's sole duty to make the public aware of your resignation before you publish it. But he went ahead and published his letters directly in a various chat room that he have resigned. That show that he don't have respect for authority. He don't have respect for his leaders. So it's like he was working with people that he don't regard them as leader. So that's how I feel that his letter, it was very unprofessional of him. It just showed to public that how emotional of a person Sir is. He allowed his emotion to take over him.
Thank you very much. That's the voice of Nyani. The Volula, the favorite son of Niba Kante.
And let me say a little bit again about that of radio and the fact that we are in government. Like, first of all, I think the position that Yan is doing is for LAI. It's not just for administration or Yan works with you. What I'm doing, I'm offering my service as budget committee chair. I don't think I'm taking pay or not impact or in any way influence my decision. However, looking outwards, do have people that are working definitely impact administration that are always appearing over there. Bernice is always on the show. Sir, who just resigned, he was always on Logging Out. Why is he not characterizing Logging Out as administration or government radio as well? But then again, these are some of the things we have in the community. We always see people that have things that they want to say and cannot say them. Or he can come over here if he wants to say those things. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I think we got to switch the pendulum to the president, to the president's letter. The president, the powerful man in this community, Mr. Julius Parker, letter to the community. Mr. Volula, do you have the president's letter?
The president is not too powerful anymore. You don't say the powerful man, but yeah, you can go ahead.
That means maybe the vice president is trying to overtake the president, but the president have to fight by. Some of these things, and we will not be here. We allow the president to fall apart, but that's why we want to discuss the president's letter. The president trying to tell you that the letter that came from Mr. Che was never approved by the president. So, Mr. Volula, what is the take on the president's letter, Mr. President's Julius Parker letter to the community?
First of all, the president, I still believe in the president. He's still the president. I still believe in him. We, he just taking over. He will get there, as time go by. I still believe in him.
Yeah.
But I'm sending this caveat to the president. The president should be able to take control of the administration.
Yeah.
He should be able to stand up and tell people in their faces what is going on or what he don't like or what that need to be done. Until then, he will just be occupying the position and while other people run the show. He have to.
Mr. Volula, when you say other people, what are you talking about? Who are other people?
The vice president running this show. We all know. The whole community know. The vice president been running this show. We are all aware. The vice president, everything that he do in this community is not in hiding. He's a public figure now. Everywhere he go, whatever he says, trust me, is recorded. So I'm just saying that whatever he say or whatever he tell people, vice president will go around and tell people, say, oh, just hold on. You will soon get this position. You will soon get this position. Vice president, all the appointments that went on, I think it was a vice president appointment. Everything the vice president bring to the president table is a yes. It's a yes. So the president has to take charge. That's what I have to tell you. The president has to take charge.
Yes, thank you very much.
To be frank, you are saying some things that are very important. Mr. Exwazi, you want to say something before I proceed?
Yeah, go ahead. Working on Sonny.
Okay. What you are saying is very important. I think Mr. Parker is watching his administration fall right before his eyes. It's about time that you change your strategy. Mr. President needs to understand that he is the number one person on this ticket. Regardless of what people will be doing, around him, he is the number one. And I heard you say, Mr. Vice President is saying, going around promising position and all this stuff or whatsoever. Again, I said the boy is running on some adrenaline. Mr. Richard Boya, he's my brother. He's my older brother. He's my brabby, but I think he's running on a little bit of too much sugar. He's doing a little too much. Again, he needs to slow down. This is not the first time that I've heard people mentioning about what he's doing. I do not have the time to sit with him or talk to him, but I will try to have or sit down with him as a brother. I still love the man. I still believe that he can do things. He has good intentions. However, he has been proceeding wrongly these few days, and it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate the way he's going around. He shouldn't be going around promising people a job or going around trying to make decisions that will be keeping the president out of the loop. These are some things that the president will not mention. These are some things the president is a very easy man, but this is not about that. When you are into power, you have to learn to adapt according to your position. It's about time he needs to rough some muscles. He needs to stand up and he needs to speak exactly when it's needed. Mr. President, your administration is falling right before our eyes. And it's very unfortunate that you are watching it fall. You don't need to disagree with people publicly, but you should call the come to Jesus moment. You should call the meeting that you have to go again and show people how to go about and defend themselves and how to go about serving your agenda or the agenda of this community. Mr. Julius Parker, you have to look in the mirror. The people elected you. This is not an appointed position. You were elected based on the trust and the hope of this community. You need to, it's at times that he stand up. He should stand up and do what is right. Mr. President, I don't care about who's behind him or who's around him or whatsoever. At the end of the day, the fate of this administration is going to fall on his lap. So he should stand up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. President Julius Parker. If you are listening, that is the voice of the Honorable Chairman. Mr. President, you need to step up. Mr. President in this community, Julius Parker, you were elected, you were not appointed. You can now allow the Vice President, Prince Richard Boya, to run the show while you are still alive. You are still in this community. That's why we trusted you. If it had been Richard Boya who going to come here and say he's running for the president position, Richard Boya going to get a political latches. Richard Boya going to be beaten. Mercifully by his opponent. But we just tell you, Mr. Julius Parker, you got to be a man. They say cowards die before their death. The venom is about once. If one want to see that definition will come when it shall come. That's why you are here. You are a strong man, a leader. Stand up. The community needs you. It is a time for the president, Mr. Julius Parker, to speak as a president. Speak, Mr. Julius Parker. When you speak, the vice president should bow down to you. You are the president. Prince Richard Boya, I got a message for you. You need to slow down, Mr. Richard Boya. Mr. Boya, you need to slow down in this community. You are doing too much. And the chairman told you are taking in sugar. You need to stop going to the candy shop. You need to slow down with some of these things. We are here, we are watching. We are in the background. Now that we're not able to serve this community, we can serve this community. We are here, we're being leadership. We understand the dialectics of politics. We understand the moral operandis when it comes to leadership. That's why we said that we are observing. Now that we can be leader, we can. Yes, we are capable. Yes, we can. Yes, we can, Mr. Boya. We can. But the issue is you need to slow down. We love you. We love you. There's a caveat from OP Table. We love you, Mr. Boya. You need to slow down and listen to your president. You are doing too much. You have been appointing people ceremoniously. You need to stop that. Listen to your president. That's why we have the president in this community. Honor Mr. Tati Regine. We never heard Mistress, how you call it, lady, Mikel Koke appointing people around here. You go tell people you are working on my government. I mean, you are working in my office. I'm one of those. When you want yourself, as I see you working directly with the vice president. I said over my dead body. As I see cannot work in the office of the vice president because I understand the Constitution. The vice president does not have an office. I want to tell this to you over there. Mr. Richard Boya, you have no office. You are just ordinary man in this community, and you should respect the president. The only person who have an office is a secretary. That's how we understand. Mr. Boyer, this is your boss. You need to understand bureaucracy. You cannot sit and be running things around here. It's a caveat to you. You need to slow down, Mr. Boyer. Do not go to the candy shop. Yeah, Mr. Vulule, what is your take on the president's letter?
Again, we all saying the same thing. The president just have to take charge. I still believe in the president. The president will deliver to this community, and he will deliver to beyond the imagination of this of the community members. I still believe in that strongly. I still love the president. I believe in his ideology, the ideology that I fought for during the election. That ideology still stand. I know that he's going to deliver, and I know for sure that he's going to do it. I worked with him before. I know who is him. He's a man of integrity. He's a man that stand. That when that time comes, you will see.
Okay, so Mr. Vulule, so the letter that came from Jeremiah Chie with the reinstatement of Roland Akoi, was it approved by the president?
No. According to the president letter that was just up here, the president said he was not in the know of that letter that came out. So that made us to understand that it came from the vice president. The vice president approved that letter, and that letter came out without even the secretary general knowing of that letter. The secretary general didn't even know how that letter came about. And the communication need to be disseminated by the secretary general of this community. That's the job of the secretary general. So the vice president, the RRC chair, they have to know their boundaries. They have to know the functions of the position they are occupying.
So okay, let me clear things a little bit here. The president is aware of the fact that letters supposed to come out. However, the president is not aware of the content of that letter. When the memo or the letter was written, I think the president didn't see the content. Wherein I think some of the world they look very chaotic. They create an atmosphere that we woke up to a platform that was very hot the next day. Because I think it shift blame a little. It was more so of a gossip piece more than an official letter coming from the administrative office. That thing should not be something that this administration should pull out, honestly, in my opinion. It's more so about a gossip. Mr. Roland Akwe said this, or Mr. Roland this, said that, and whatsoever. And Mr. Chie made a very reckless move. As someone who worked in NSA before, he's been working for the NSA, he understands security. He was very reckless to try to prove his point when he took a letter from the administrative chat room to the public chat room. That was very reckless. That should never be repeated, no matter how tense and how pushed you are. There should be no need to prove your point by taking letter or communication from the administrative chat room to the public chat room. That I believe Mr. Parker should, again, he should go back to the drawing board and he should create a guideline that these things should not happen. Some things he read it. Again, leadership is needed here. Leadership is needed here. I don't think it's time to be passive. It's time to be very forceful. It's time to be like, to push your agenda, you have to understand that your terrain is not a terrain that is so smooth. You have to look at people in the eye and tell them no. You got to look at people in the eye and say, we are not doing this. You got to look at people in the eye and say, this is not your position. This is not what you're supposed to do. Stay in your place, stay in your lane. And that's how things are supposed to operate. Even with the youth, sometimes the youth, Mr. Saab resigned. Yes, he was doing some things that maybe you didn't like and some things that you did like or whatsoever. But then again, you see something that is going off target. You call them to a special meeting, maybe between you and that particular department. If you don't want to have the VP involved, you don't want to have involved, that's okay. Call the chair and the co-chair and the people, Mr. Roland Akwe, and you sit down with them and you talk to them. maybe Mr. Winner Akwe bringing Chiche Pole, and his Chiche Pole is.
What do you mean, Chiche Pole, Mr. Chairman?
I'm trying to use our Labrador slang. Chiche Pole is hearing that, you know, whatsoever you hear out there, and you just be trying.
Does that mean gossip?
Yes, gossip in the Western tent. Chiche Pole. Maybe Mr. Winner Akwe bringing Chiche Pole to honor mine, or the department, or maybe Belize is doing Chiche Pole, outside doing Chiche Pole. But you say all the three factors together, you put them together, and you try to make it work. But you cannot allow it to fall before your eyes to the point that you get a resignation on your table. It's very too fast. In my opinion, I don't think SAR's supposed to resign this early, because we still have a long way to go. But then again, I respect his decision as a family man. He has to do what's important for his family. And if he thinks it's not serving his family and his interests, it's about time that he steps aside and do the right thing. I think he did something that was accepted by his conscience, and that's the most important thing, to go to bed.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we have a caller on the phone, Ms. Bernice Affad from the Youth Department, the Youth and Sport Department. Ms. Bernice Affad, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Yeah, you are live on Open Table.
Yeah, so thank you guys for having me on Open Table. I am just calling to clear up some things that some comment was made. Let me turn this down so you guys can hear me.
Yes, please do.
So, just to clear up some things, because I already spoke to some people who were on Open Table, so I'm not sure why the story is kind of different. But to clear up some things is this. I was never in a meeting, right?
Yeah.
When the date was finalized. What happened was the day before, and John Akwe, you was there in the garage because me and you had a conversation about this, and I said I was taking it back to my team. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Go ahead.
You came there that day. We was talking about it. I said, well, I'm not sure what's going to happen now, because the family said that they're probably going to go with the 29th, but they were going to have a meeting the next day. That was the day that they were going to confirm the date. So that day, I went back. I called my chairman. I called Mr. Akwe, and we had a conversation. We were waiting on the administration to give us a call, because per the text message that was put in the chat room the next morning, because Joseph wrote in the chat room about the date and what, letting the administration know it was out there, what they were going to do. That's when the VP replied that basically they were going to speak with the family and then get back with us. Now, between the speaking with the family of when everything were confirmed and getting back to us to see how best we can move forward, that is the phone call that we never received, and that is when we as a committee and also, Roland felt disenchanted, because as if we are a committee and things are going to change, I feel like we should have gotten a phone call so we can all reach an equal medium on how to move forward. So I didn't run no Chiche Pole. I was never in a meeting. I told, and my team will let you know. I let them know exactly what was going on. And the only thing that happened was, again, miscommunication from the higher ups to us, and nobody gave us a call so we can talk about this. So there we go.
Thank you. That was the voice of Bernie Affad, Miss Bernie Affad, the Youth and Sport Department co-chair, chair lady. Yes, thank you very much, Bernie Affad. Mr. Chairman, do you have anything to say concerning Miss Bernie Affad?
Oh, I mean, again, like I said, I think the president needed to sit with all three of them, especially that department. Again, like I said, I don't know who we can really squarely put the blame on. This thing is not on one side. It's not just one-sided. It's both ways. Is the department and is the administration. One communication, breakdown in communication, or the way things were proceeding, they needed some come to Jesus movement. They needed to sit down and iron out some things. Mr. Parker needed to sit down with them and discuss some things. Mr. Samba and his co-chair lady needed to sit with Mr. Parker. Some things you don't solve them with emotions. I think a little bit too much of emotions came into play. Concerning the bereavement, I don't want to stretch much of the bereavement, especially when a family is still bereaving. It's sorry. It's very hard to talk on these things. Let's be honest. We all visited the family. Some people go to the family place and sit on the side and come out with their own gossip and their own news. The one thing I noticed was the date of the event and the same date of the bereavement or the funeral concerning this family. And there's one thing you don't want to do when someone is grieving. When someone is grieving, you don't want to sit in their face and go talk to them about how they should grieve or how they should go about grieving. And that's something that you should understand. There is no way in hell that I, Joseph Sede, will go approach a family concerning an event or entertainment that can be postponed when someone is grieving to tell them about our agenda. And I think it was something that was done in good faith while they were aware, this administration was aware about things, that's okay too. But the youth department, communication is both ways. You are not getting a communication from the president. You're not getting communication from the administration. Is your phone not working the other way? Can you not call the other way? Why are we just putting? Look, if my boss is giving me something to do, and I'm not getting clarity or something about that. You think I'm not calling my boss? I talk to my boss always. Even the fact I'm out of town right now, I still talk to him. I communicate with him for the next step. You have to engage people or whatsoever. This level of complacency and then you trying to play the blame game is not always going to work well. Call the man, talk to the man, and speak to him. If he's not picking up your call, then we have a problem. But you are in a position that you are waiting for him to call you to clarify things. Okay, I'm sorry. I think even in your household, when you have your children, or I have my little daughter, she got an opinion of her own. Trust me, if I say do this, she'll be like, Daddy, no, or Daddy, can we do this? If she wants things, she will not wait for me to tell her, say, go get it. She will say, Daddy, can we get this? So communication go both ways. I think they were looking at communication from higher up just to them. So they need to understand administration. As a matter of fact, it's not just administration, it's life. They all have work. You work in corporate America or outside corporate America. You got to speak. You can't just assume that the communication should be one-sided.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Folula.
Yes. Thank you.
What you got to say about the co-chair lady that came on from the youth and sport department and make some clarity? What is your take on that?
The chairman just say all. What I wanted to say, the chairman have just said. If you're not receiving communication from the president or the vice president, what were you doing to call them and seek the information that you've been waiting for from them? Call them. You're working with them. That's what we call cordial working relationship. You might not like these people, but for the sake of the for this community, you have to find a common ground of working with those people for the sake of this community. Look, with the work that the youth department is doing, tomorrow, if the youth department won't run for anything in this community, the credit is going to them. The credit is going to them. So if people looking at the hard work they put in forward in this community, getting our young people engaged all of the time, the people seeing it. But you're not doing that for this president. You're doing that for this community. So if you're seeking some information from the president, if the president not giving you that information, your duty was to call the president, and seek the information from them and move forward with whatever you want to do. But you sat there because you allowed the emotion to take over you, or because you don't like certain people, like in the administration. That's why they waited for them to just run with this misinformation. And Rodan Akwe, being the young brother, he also a secretary general. He's a leader of this community, for God's sake. He's a leader. That's why I said in my little video I put up in the chat room the other day. You are leader, for God's sake. You are secretary general of the Young Men Group. So tomorrow, if your president not communicating with you, is that what you're going to do to him as well? Or if you hear something about your president is doing X, Y, and Z to you, not my X, Y, Z on the show, but X, Y, and Z to you, you will just take action because you heard they say. You're not going to call to clarify that information that you heard. Is that what you're doing at the Young Men Group? Those things, we as leaders of this community, we have to be careful how we react to information that we receive. You if you're not in leadership, it's different. But whenever you take that role as a leader of this community, of any community, of any group, or at your job, now things that you used to do, like it was not a heavy weight on you. Now that you are a leader, all those things is now on the spotlight, and you are in a spotlight to everybody. So those things, we have to be careful. We have to be careful. We all are leaders, and we all are working with other people. Is that what you do at your job? Is that what you what? So if some of your co-workers just come to you, say your supervisor is doing is planning so and so thing about you, so you will just react. Most of the time, what I tell my my workers are, don't act on preconceived mindset of what you hear about people. Get to know people yourself. Get to understand people yourself. We all work together to have that cordial relationship. The preconceived mindset, it will not take you anywhere, but it will just break you down. And at the end of the day, nothing going to happen. Nothing going to happen. We are all vibrant and united community. We all preach all the time. Whenever we have the chance, we preach about unity. Unity begins from among us as leaders. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nyanfreda. Your points is well taken, Mr. Chairman. Your points are taken. You said it all, and Mr. Vrila King and buttress. That's a good thing. That's how the community is supposed to be. That's how leadership is supposed to be. People should learn how to serve the community. You cannot. They say there's a saying in Africa. They say the snake cannot run more than the hare. You cannot be administration and then you, the owner, man, want to function more than your boss. We don't do that. People have to understand bureaucracy. That's what we understand. The school of thought. Those are things we need to understand. And that's why the vice president is break loose. He's running more than the president. I don't know if he's in the jet bumper flying and the president is on a bicycle. That's what it sounds like. But some of these things the president have to put the vice president in check. Anyway, the president letter, that's how we come to the conclusion of the president's letter. But now we're going to be going to Mr. Robert Carey. Mr. Robert Carey versus Jeremiah Chair. That have been going on in this community. Mr. Robert Carey versus Jeremiah Chair in this community. The IRC chairman, Mr. Jeremiah Chair, and that was Secretary General in this community. The powerful Secretary General in this community, whose voice have been marginalized by the Vice President in collaboration with Jeremiah Chair. So, Mr. Chairman, what is your take on the Vice President burying the Secretary General when it comes to the function?
Well, I wouldn't dwell on your opinion. That's your opinion about.
That's the news. My opinion is the news.
Okay, that's the news. I will have to dive deeper into that. If that is the fact that the vice president is bearing the voice of the secretary with the help of Chair or whatsoever. But that's a news that worth looking into. However, again, I made mention of things here. A few things we need to look into. Know that Mr. Chair was recommended to this administration by Mr. Robert Carey. Let's be first clear on that. Is this bromance falling apart, or is this bromance turning into an OI friendship? Because Mr. Robert Carey and Mr. Chair, I don't think they are I don't think they are working well, and that's very unfortunate because they are very much supposed to be close. To be frank, in my opinion, Chie and Kerry supposed to speak regularly because Kerry works under Chie works under Kerry. Let me clarify that. So there should be a very cordial and respectful relationship between the two. And we understand that both men can push the pen, and that is important as well. However, when you are serving people, or you should look at it as service to community. You should not be trying to score political points. You should not be trying to gain admiration of people based on the detriment, trying to let me take this slow, trying to damage others. Right? I was trying to say something else, but okay. So, and I don't think there's been any form of damage here so far. This relationship, we can still mend this relationship, right? But few things. The community is aware that these guys, they are not working together. And then Chie came out with the brilliant idea to tell the community, yes, we're not working together, but why he posted this gone week. It was very, very unfortunate that he didn't think that through. Mr. Chie decided to go and correct Robert Kerry on the public chat room. You can never do that. I don't care if you guys have a good working relationship or not. You cannot go correct your boss on the public forum. If you understand administration, you have to wait before you correct him in the administrative chat room or behind closed door. And I'll wrap this up very quick because the fact of the matter is, I know you got a call on the line. The fact of the matter is, he was wrong this week. That was very wrong. The announcement that Robert Kerry put out, it was well placed. Robert Kerry put out an announcement and said, we'll get back to the community later because you cannot have a date without a venue. They were still working on the venue and other things or whatsoever. So Kerry said, we'll get back to you later. And Mr. Chie had a brilliant idea to tell the public that the announcement was vague. Really? In the public? And that's the play? And Mr. Jan Vuluda didn't really put some icing on the cake, but like he really put some gasoline in the flame when he went to address Chie in the public. And
okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you hold on that? I have Mr. Chie, Mr. Jeremiah Chie is on the phone. Hello, Mr. Jeremiah Chie. We are doing good. Mr. Chie, you are having open table.
Okay.
You gotta bring that close up to the volume or something.
Can you be a little bit audible? Can you be audible?
Sure, I can. I called in because a few days ago, my concern as it relates to the SG's a memo maybe was taken out of context, but I guess that's who I am. And the thing is, I didn't mean harm, but like other people caution, like this thing should have been settled in-house before raising your opinion. I feel like if it was only in the administrative chat room, I wouldn't have done that. But after that, in the first place, I saw it, to be honest with you, I saw it in the general chat room, in the community chat room before I even went to the administrative chat room. You understand me?
Yeah.
That was that. But then I'm like, okay, it's okay. Because looking at my current portfolio as being a part of the government, I should have maybe kept my thoughts to myself. But again, I think I went back on that statement, and I think several people have concerns with it, and I think I apologize for that. And I think there's no quid pro quo because the SG and we are good people and we are buddies. But the thing is, sometimes when things happen, people try to score political points. One of your panelists there, yeah, you made a whole video.
Oh, really?
You made a whole video on the ruling Akwe saga where we were trying to acquire things. Now you made a whole video, and I just laugh it up because we all in administration, right? But these things, I don't want you to be saying that. Why are you always attacking the SG? That's not an attack. The only word I said in that thing was vague.
because it's indefinite, and the thing was like no timing for the next meeting, something, and that was just my concern at the moment. You understand me? But I don't mean any harm. Whenever date is rescheduled for said meeting, we will attend the meeting. I was just concerned looking at the calendar event that we have, and the next meeting is June 25th. From April 23rd, the next meeting is June 25th. So that was my concern. But however, I'm not the final arbiter. I'm not the one who's supposed to decide on when meeting is to be held or not. So I don't have any issue, like I said to you when previously. That's why I retracted my statement and apologized. I don't know whatever concerns people have, like, oh, the LGT running too much. Let me tell you guys, there's nothing in this administration that I do without consent. I want to be clear on that. There's nothing absolutely that our chief does on this government or within the government without consent. The issue that has to do with the letter the other day, IRC did not just jump on and print a letter and post it. No, I called the vice president for a totally different issue, and right away the vice president put me on the spot because I remember it was Tuesday night after the Logan's hour. So I was calling. I was like, because the Basel Convention is fast approaching, so I had a concern that what I was calling him for right on the spot. I didn't even go, like 2-3 seconds. The vice president was like, okay, you on the phone with the president, myself, and Roland Akwe. So I'm like, I remember the president made a statement. The president said, but why you putting me on the spot? That I didn't know everybody started laughing. I said, haha, and we started laughing. I said, oh, coach, you on the phone? That was Roland. I was referring to Roland. I said, oh, they've been on my player. And I'm like, what's going on? Then that's how that discussion ensued. Roland was like, I want to come back to the administration. It was not my doing. So I said, but wait, this thing has to be written. You understand me? I was in conversation with the two top government official of the community, and the instruction was passed.
So, Mr. Chair, before you go, so who passed the instruction to you for you to send a letter?
Roland, the president, and the vice president were on the call. The instruction was passed. Say, okay, like, you can come up with a statement. That's what I'm saying. I think I listened to Joseph earlier on. It was like, maybe the choice of words that I used in the letter that was written has some, political or insinuations, but that's why I'm a politician. And I will no regret for that letter. So when that letter was, because I was instructed, that's how that letter, when was the last time since election did you guys see me coming up with any serious hair or so thing? It was because of the instruction. I was operating on instructions. But like I said, maybe the choice of words that I used, like the reinstatement of the man, whereas he was not even appointed by the president, but those were the literature that I heard on the call. That's why I said it. And Roland was very clear that he wants to come back to the administration and he will be willing to work with the administration. And so all these things were indicated. Now in the middle paragraph where I said, the youth, I mentioned the youth department's chairman. I didn't even mention the co-chairman. I said the youth department's chairman. You understand me? So that was a tantrum that I threw, which I knew when I did it, but it shouldn't have been there in the first place. You understand me? But these are political times, and nobody will determine how someone else is write what they want to write, especially when you have facts to that. That's why you see I was pushed, and when people kept going back and forth with me on that press release, and you saw me going back to say, oh, this was what happened. It was clear that Roland said he didn't even know that on the same memo that was issued for his resignation was the same memo that had two options for two other persons joining the youth department. So he was shocked. And that was the indicator. So that's how you saw that it was referenced. I was out after it was challenged, then I've done that. Like the SG came up quickly and corrected it. I said, okay. You understand me? He was very fast in correcting it. I said, okay, because he said these are what the choice of word he used on the read up. He said intelligent information or some information like that. So it shouldn't have been in the public space. And I agree with him for that. You understand me? But what I see people sometimes the panelists like even you in this community, you've done things in this community that you're not even putting on the spotlight like that. But you come at me like, oh, what you did against the SG? You know what you did? You added flame to the fire for no reason, for no obvious reason. I agree that things can be done, but I cannot jump up on my own and say, oh, I will do this because I hate this person, I hate this person. Yeah. Every other thing we coordinate, and I don't speak for the vice president, I don't speak for the presidency. But if I'm instructed by the two higher ups, that's what I will do. So
Mr. Chair, I know you want to monopolize, Mr. Chair, but there's an issue. So the president came out saying he was not informed about that identical information that came out. So that means did the instruction come from the vice president, Mr. Boya?
Did the president make a statement that he was not informed about the information?
The president, the letter that came out, I don't think the president was informed.
Listen, if I put a write-up and you see the president letter comes up the next day, the president voice supersedes my voice. So it tells you that it's in consultation. The president has the final say. The president comes up with a write-up and write-up. So I don't know what anything the president says is final. Okay. You understand me?
Yeah.
If the president come out and the letter that I've written, and you see people always score political things at the expense of other people. Now the president write-up came. In less than 10 minutes of the write-up being placed on the chat room, Sa was preparing his resignation letter and he resigned.
Thank you.
So was there a problem solved in that? The problem was not solved because I'm the accused here of Mr. Akwe. I was accused of writing that letter. And there were calls placed behind me that I didn't know about. Mm-hmm. And you understand me? I should have been maybe in on that call to say, oh my man, the writer you brought, it brought problem or there's a problem here and I would think that we're making this decision. I wasn't in on our call. I wasn't in on anything. And the decision of me, I heard that the call was heated. I wasn't on the call.
So Mr. Chair, I know you are staying in flight, but I want to inject. So who were on the call? Was that the president of the vice president?
The call had the youth department was on the call. The youth department was on the call. I presume that the president and the vice president were on the call.
Well, so you are talking based on assumption because you don't have to fight, so you presume.
I presume.
No, the chair is trying to protect Mr. Chair is trying to protect the information again that came from the VP. That's why I say the VP is on sugar.
So Mr. Chair,
the VP is on sugar. The VP was the one that told Chair about that call. VP Richard Boya needs to slow down. That call had.
Mr. Chairman, hold on. You're gonna get your time to talk. Mr. Chair is in flight. Chairman, hold on. Mr. Chair, go ahead.
The information that was placed out there, I knew about that information. I knew about it. You understand me?
Okay.
I knew about the information.
How did you know about the information?
Everybody was calling for government intervention. All the way thing going. So when the man try to go and intervene, people take it the other way. Just as the man intervened, that's a resignation. So
okay.
Everybody expected him to sit
Mr. Chair
and not intervene. He intervened in the case. He intervened in the matter. Distancing the administration stands from my letter and whatever. But then at the end of the day, what did it come to? After the man intervened to solve the problem amicably, that's a resignation. You seen it? Nobody expected that to happen.
Okay.
Why would the man resign and accuse the government? The same thing people accuse me of, they say, oh, you made a letter and reinstating somebody and postponed something. The man resigned and he implicated that on several occasions, the president can listen to him, the government people can listen to him. He has been in the corner, he cannot function effectively.
Okay, Mr. Chair, hold on. I think Mr. Vrula have a question for you. Mr. Vrula, I will get Jeremiah Chair on the phone. What's your question to Chair?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, you said you knew about the information. How did you know about the information? Were you on the call or not?
You have to understand that this government, we are together. The same way you know about information is the same way I know about information.
I didn't know about that information. The SD didn't know about that information.
By the office of the president, I saw the information. You understand me? And it was in the right direction.
Okay.
For the president to come out and intervene in the matter to solve the problem. I saw the information.
Okay.
No, Mr. Chair, we're not talking about information that came from the president. We are talking about the phone call. How did you get to know about the phone call?
I was informed.
How did you get to know? Who told you? The vice president?
Listen, if you have an issue with the vice president, place a call to him.
No, I don't have no issue with anybody in this government. I'm just a journalist. I'm just carrying the news.
Okay, you are a journalist, then you can do your fact-finding. I say I was informed.
Okay, I will try to do some of that.
You want to know who informed me?
I want to know. That's what I'm asking.
The president informed me.
The what?
The president informed me.
Oh, the president. The president.
Yes, the president informed me because it was a manner of solving problems. The president informed me, and the president stepped in the right direction to settle matters between the cabinet people and everything I see going wrong. So it was the right thing to do by the president to have a meeting with these people, and at the end of the day, try to solve it. Put up a press release that distancing the administration from the one I wrote previously, which was a good step in the right direction. You understand me?
Yeah.
That's how you
I have a question.
Okay.
And when it happened, what happened next? We saw resignation. Everything, listen to me. Listen, it doesn't mean that because you and I play football this morning, then we always together. I listened to your show previously. Oh, the vice president decision I made on hookah table. That's not my issue. That's not my business.
Okay.
That's not my issue.
But Mr. Chair, is that true that the vice president should come from the hookah table?
If you surmise that your show comes from the truck, from the middle of the truck, then it comes from the hookah table.
Mr. Chair, you are sounding like you're mad about the situation.
I'm not. That's why I asked for the video link. You refuse to send me the video link.
No, I said even Fatima, the secretary, hold on. Even Fatima, the finance secretary of this community wanted to come to the show. I said, today's show, we already posted the flyers, and we got to set precedent. I'm not against you, Mr. Chair.
The only reason why you're doing that, the chairman is on a down, so he decided to not be my force the co-chairman.
No, the chairman is on the show. Go ahead.
The main reason I called was not for that. If vice president can come on any other day and defend himself, and defending myself, that there's no issue between Mr. Kerry and I. I think I heard about taking things from the chat room to put it out there, and even questioning the Secretary General's own authority to put us something on it. But I didn't do it like in a bad manner. It was just my concern. I think other people reach out to me and say, like, listen, man, you can't be doing this. I agree with them. That's why you see people, politicians don't have a grudge. When you do something, you know it didn't go down well with people, you agree and acknowledge it. And you
Thank you. Forward. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I think Jan Volule and the chairman got a question for you. We cannot. Yeah, Mr. Chairman, you got a question for Mr. Chair?
No, Jan wanted to ask him a question.
Mr. Volule.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I want to know. You said the president wanted to settle things between people. Were you among those people that the president wanted to settle things between?
No, the youth department had a concern, right? The youth department said, in my press release, they were lied on. You understand me? That you follow the chat room, the general chat room, and were accused and were calling on authorities to intervene. I think that was the reason why the authorities intervened on our call. And now that I see reason that I wasn't supposed to be on our call because, again, I was the accused, but I think that I was supposed to be there. But now, during that intervention, I think the president came out and said, like you saw in the press release that was released, that you posted, the president was very clear that I wasn't supposed to put all those kind of things in the initial press release. You understand me? It was very clear.
All right, Mr. Chair, last question. Do you think it was ethical, since you were accused, for you to be the one to pour out the statement? Do you think it was ethical?
You think it was what?
Ethical. It wasn't right.
Mr. Jan Volule, I assume that you still don't understand the rationale behind this whole thing. It was after, listen, that statement was put up before the youth had the problem with the way the statement was put out. And now they were calling on authorities to address it. You getting that point? That's how you see the authorities intervene to address it, to know what were the crimes. And when the authority addressed it, the office of the president put up a statement. And that statement was very clear, distancing the administration from the IRC communication that was put up initially, and finding ways to work together everything. And you see how the letter was summarized. And at the end of the day, in less than 10 minutes, we see a resignation coming in. What I'm saying, people shouldn't act like government don't want to act. When the government act, then you resign. That's why you saw when Ansari resigned, I said, no, I thought he was playing. I said, you're a party member, let me come back. But he didn't seem to come out because I'm like, my man, even in senior cabinet government positions, people can knock head, people can go after each other, people can for the betterment of everything at the end of the day.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Time is fast spare. We gotta go, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you. That was the voice of the RSC chairman, Mr. Jeremiah Che, in this community. Mr. Jeremiah Che have been posting things about the concern of the Secretary General, and the RSC chairman should be working in direct proportion to the General Secretary of this community. Mr. Chair, anyway, Mr. Chair is a fine gentleman. Mr. Chair have come to defend himself. But anyway, Mr. Honorable Chairman, Jr. I think Mr. Chair have come to defend himself. He spoke very well. Do you have anything to buttress or say anything that Mr. Chair proponded with?
I mean, not much. Mr. Chair did mention that the president attempted to solve the problems. Some problems in his administration. I mean, to begin with, especially the youth. The president did. That's true. That's true that the president met with the youth department. And the president and the vice president they met with the youth department. I know this for a fact because I would tell you that I speak to Mr. Sa, who resigned. I was trying to talk to him to try to resolve this problem, and I think he still had. I don't think the meeting went well, in his opinion, and that's why he resigned. So it's true that that meeting occurred. However, I don't think there's a need of solving a problem between the youth and to solve a problem between the youth and Mr. Che. While Mr. Che is still speaking, and he's a good politician, I understand that he's trying to gloss over some things and press on some things. What he's not mentioning is the fact that the president, again, I reiterate, is not aware of the content of the memo. Not that the president is in the know of the memo coming out. He wanted to get something coming out. Their content, which of course is the reason why this thing created a chaos, because the words that you saw in there created the chaos. If we are going to say, "Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Mr. Roland Akwe." He decided to work with the youth department and so on whatsoever. He sat down, went over his decision, and he's ready to work back. That was going to be easier whatsoever. Yeah. However, the content matters, right? Because there's a way you will say things that will make.
What is the content you are thinking about? What phrase were used in a letter that created the chaos?
He did mention few. The reinstatement. Nobody reinstating Roland Akwe. Reinstatement one. The other one was about things about his colleagues. Who are the colleagues we are talking about? So when you say about his colleagues and whatsoever, you create the political tension. That is very that is a move that is politically savvy. You are trying to rock the boat. Mr. Che was aware of what he was doing. Was the rocking of the boat a tactic planned by him and the vice president? I don't know. But why? I don't think Mr. Parker, in his wisdom, will read that and say, "Go ahead and pull that out."
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me do it.
Time fast spent.
We're about to go. However, let me close this point. Why is Mr. Parker having that meeting with Che and the vice president without the secretary? That's why I say Mr. Parker should go ahead and start doing leadership the appropriate way. You cannot be having meeting with Che on and Mr. Robert Kerry is not in the know. So go ahead and proceed.
Thank you very much. We're not diving on pendulum switching very fast. We are moving. We are on 70 miles per hour. We are moving very fast. Now we are reaching to the vice president, Mr. Richard P. Boyer, who have been running this community single-handedly without the know of the president, Mr. Julius Parker. And Mr. Bulule.
Yes.
Hello, Bulule.
Yeah, I'm here.
Bulule, are you there?
I'm here. You hear me?
Mr. Vulula, I come to my studio to open table that the vice president is running the community without a know of the president. They say he's moving 70 miles per hour. That's how I got the news. They say the vice president is running the community 70 miles per hour while the president is on a bicycle moving 25 miles per hour. What is your take on that?
Yes. Before I go to that question, I want to make something clear. The president have to, I will agree with the chairman, the president have to take leadership, here. He had to take the front row seat. You know very well that Kerry, the Secretary General, and Chie have always been into some type of, rock and roll or misunderstanding. So, jumping over the Secretary General.
Power struggle.
Yeah, power struggle.
Okay.
I know power struggle or what? Because Kerry is not power struggling with anybody. Kerry was overwhelmingly elected by the people, so he's not power struggling with anybody. But
doesn't mean not to interject. You can still have power struggle even if you are elected. Yeah, you can.
Okay, all right, power struggle. That put it that way. Power struggle.
Yeah. You cannot give it to you as I give it to you.
Yeah. You cannot take the function of the Secretary General and empower it to the RSC chair, because that was the function. If you're discussing about information being disseminated to the community, it should go through the Secretary General, and the Secretary General responsibility is to disseminate that information to the community. But
Mr. Frula, I'm sorry. So why didn't the president inform Mr. Secretary General, that is Mr. Robert Kerry, to post the information instead of going through the RSC chair?
I don't know what was the president thinking. I don't know, but that we leave it with the president to clarify that to us why he did that. But it was not right on the part of the president. The president had to take charge of that moving forward, because you cannot do that. I would even me that if you do that to me, I will feel disenchanted. I would definitely feel disenchanted. It can happen to anybody. And you and myself already, having some misunderstanding on issues like that. Then you went and jumped over me and empower this pricing to do such job. It would be like you don't like me,
Mr. Vulula, in a nutshell, Mr. Vulula,
General.
Let me inject. In a nutshell, are you trying to tell me that the vice president is trying to disenchant Mr. Robert Kerry to step aside and then Chie take over?
No, I'm talking about the president right now. The president, that action of the president, it should not happen again. The president should really look into that critically. But the vice president, somebody on the line?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Hello, Anthony Gavler, the partner of this community. Miss Pania, you gotta be loud, you gotta be audible.
Okay, I want to make this recommendation.
Go ahead.
The Secretary General should be held responsible for external communication. Communication that should go out of the association and take care of internal communication. I think that there's a good way, things will be much easier than the way it is. Here, when it comes to internal communication, here handle that. The IRS is not here. The IRS is handle that. Then when it comes to letter grade outside to the public, which are external users, then the Secretary General handle that. Okay? Then they still get the division of labor. The other will know what is their function and what is not their function. Okay? So I think that's it. And then, one of the things that that's the president having meeting with the vice president, right? And getting acquainted onto it and bringing care and the leader amount to come out with some of the senior decision, they should accord an executive meeting and decide what to do. Then just take from there. Okay? And acquainted will have to be told, hey, You gotta be careful. If there is emotion, don't control him. Alright? If something goes wrong, if you think something went wrong, you should be able to address it appropriately to just come and resign and go back. He will give you some respect for his place. And even if you don't do.
Thank you.
Let it be mindful.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Volola and Mr. Chairman, do you have any question from Mr. Gabriel before he leave?
I think Mr. Givler is making recommendation. I don't think it's something that is deserving of a question. But
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Gabriel. Thank you for calling Open Table. We love you. Open Table love you so much. Anyway, so Mr. Chairman, we stay on these things like Mr. Gabriel the caller said that there is some they should understand chair and that of Mr. Kerry, and that the administration should understand division of labor, separation of power. You know, you got to understand bureaucracy. When some of these things come out, you have to know. Chair have to understand his role in this administration. Mr. Kerry should understand his role as well. The vice president is trying to do the job of the president. And the president needs to be very swift to do things. The president don't have to sit and allow Mr. Boyer to run things around here. I heard from somebody saying that Mr. Boyer is asking people to work in his office. So on this platform, I want to ask the community, does Richard Boyer have an office? Does the vice president have an office? Mr. Chairman and that of Mr. Volola, you guys have been in administration for the longest. You guys have understood politics, administration, and they say government come and go. So I want you guys to make this thing clear to on this platform to the vice president. Does he have an office? According to the Constitution. So you, Mr. Volola, the vice of Niba County.
Every vice president do have an office.
Mr. Volola,
clear this, you know.
Hold on 1 minute. We have the vice president on the phone. Yeah, Mr. Richard Boyer, the vice president of this community. How you doing, Mr. President? Mr. Vice President? Hello, Mr. Richard P. Boyer. You are live on Open Table.
How you doing?
I am doing very good, Mr. Boyer. Thank you for calling Open Table. You are live on Open Table.
Yeah, I'm fine. I actually don't really do too much calling when it comes to public opinion, because that's your opinion, and I actually respect that. We run a government in this place that has to do with community-based services. People see it as national government, and for me, I don't see it that way. I'm very much slow in responding to things, because when you speak for the interest of the entire community, not just an individual. And I do appreciate your show, but it's very much important that you do your fact-finding and do not just be carried away by the say, or like your chairman was saying, the teacher police. In my own wisdom, respected of who I am, will never, ever step over my boundary to run or affair that is not in my capacity at that moment. We have a president. If anybody has felt disenchanted, they should be able to respect and respond to things positively, and not to create chaos by just creating their own feelings into things. I would never, and have never appointed anybody. I never recommended anybody to go ahead and do anything without the consent of the president. The president, if even you want to be real respectful of your generation attitude or profession that you have,
go ahead.
Call to the president and ask him if I have ever ran a show in his absence or in his presence.
So, Mr.
I understand government. Give me this. I understand government. Nobody has to teach me how to know government. I do not have any hater in this government. I do not have anybody that I favorites in this government. I do my work professionally. Okay?
Okay, and I have a question for you before you go.
Listen, the president is aware of everything that happens in this government. Whether he takes a decision by writing or he takes a decision by phone call, he is aware. Okay? Do your fact-finding before you come up with your story. Do not do something that will create chaos for the community that you think that you're trying to solve issue for.
Mr. Richard Boyer. But time is fast spent, Mr. Boyer. Time is fast spent.
Let me learn. I mean, you are on 70 miles per kilo. I think you are on 80. You have to understand the issue before you bring it to the public. People complain about dissemination of information. People should be very careful how to spread out things out there because you have to do other people own character. You don't have nothing to say. Say the fact. Speak to the issue. Give out credible information. People don't really just come out and speak or say things because they want to say things. Like I always say, I speak to issue when it is needed to be talked about.
Thank you.
Mr. Boyer, thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much. That was the voice of Prince Richard Boyer, the vice president of this community.
I want to ask the vice president question.
The vice president is gone, but he can ask you there. He will hear you. He's listening.
Man, you know, the vice president just came here to debunk what we're saying here. But he did not tell why he didn't tell the public and the listener is who authorized or who approved the information Chair put out. Who approved it? Saying we're just talking and we're not fact checking. Who they approved it?
Yes.
You see it? So we're not just saying the administration need to put themselves together to run this community in the best way possible that will bring people together. You know, we should not sit down in a corner and be running this community from the corner side. No.
Yeah, Richard is back. The vice president is back. Yeah, Mr. Vice President, Mr. Vulula, I have a question for you.
I want to answer Mr. Vulula's question. That's a very sensitive question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, if I think I got Mr. Vulula's question was if I authorize somebody to post a letter or a communication, right?
Yeah, they said who did the authorization?
So when you go back to the communication, when Mr. T came on the show, he said those who all was on the meeting. Okay, so this is it. The meeting was between. I called Mr. Aquaid to talk to him concerning he reconsidered his decision about coming back to the administration to work with the youth. Because the information that was sent to him for whosoever that he received the information for was misinformation that got him, also he said, Nya or Open Table said something that he did not like Nya and Tia. So I was talking to him as a community leader just to see the reason to come back, forget about all those things and stuff. He agreed. Just in that time, I called, the person that called me. So I asked him, can I merge the call between the president and I, along with him? And he said yes. So he was on the call. We were 4 persons that was on that call. In a nutshell, we were 4 persons on that call. After it was agreed and understood by us that Mr. Akwe wanted to come back, the president needed to have information out there. Now, for instance, one of the things that people said.
So before, hold on, let me inject a little bit and buttress the little thing.
One of the things that was mistakenly done on that identical call was the Secretary General was not part of the call, which of course we acknowledge.
So did you cannot come out here and say the platform is misleading the public?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Richard, when you're on the phone, you gotta get some questions before you leave.
Yeah, you can't come on here and just discredit the platform. You say the platform misleading the public when you know that you yourself you blundered in that process. You know, the president said the president instructed for information to go out. Did the president instructed
Mr. Fulula, hold on.
Mr. Boya? No. That Mr. Boya, hold on.
Mr. Boya, hold on. Mr. Boya, hold on.
Did the president instructed Chair specifically? Did the president
Guys, hold on. Mr. Fulula, hold on. Mr. Richie.
No, but you can't come and discredit the platform.
Hold on, Mr. Chair. I mean, not Mr. Chair, but Mr. Richard Boya, Mr. Richard Prince Boya. Hold on 1 minute.
Yeah, but you're not giving me chance.
Hold on, Mr. Richard Boya. But we cannot come and make sweeping statement walk away. Mr. Fulula, what's the question after Mr. Boya?
The vice president is telling us the platform misleading the public with
Man, we can sing together. We cannot dance. We cannot.
All right, then you can let him go because you're not coming here to run this on the show. You can let him go.
The question is, go ahead, Mr. Fulula.
Yeah, the vice president can come on here and just discredit the platform. You say the platform putting out misinformation when he knows very well that he blundered.
Mr. Boya, you gotta be professional. Mr. Boya, you gotta be professional on this.
You gotta take the man up. Take him up. You're not coming on the platform to detect.
But Mr. Jonesy Akwe, the man is in your hand. You can put the man on mute and allow Yan to propound, or you gotta put one person on mute. It's up to you.
I want to be very respectful to the vice president, but the vice president is doing things in accordance to his emotion. Mr. Vice President, hold on, Mr. Fulula is asking you a question. Mr. Fulula, what is your question?
My question is, it is true that the president wanted for information to go out there. The question is, did the president specifically call Chair, pull out the information? Did the president did that?
That's a question to you, Mr. Boya, the vice president. Yes.
Okay. So this is a very simple question I will answer it first, but you people will ask all emotion. There were 4 persons on the call that the instruction was given to Mr. Chie. I think the only thing that happened and consider that letter that went out, we didn't see the letter before it going out. But it was instruction given to Mr. Chie to go and see the public that information concerning Mr. Akwe willingness to come back. The second mistake that we had on that call was the Secretary General was not part of it. So there is nothing that was done, secretly that Mr. Chie went and posted, or like you people saying, or got the notion that I instructed Chie to go and post letter. And sometimes you people can be very, very careful how you give your information out there. The president gave his mandate to primarily give the information, but was not the way the message went out.
You're still discrediting our platform. You're saying the platform putting out misinformation when the president had put out a letter stating that he was not in the know of the contents of the letter.
Okay, hold up. Let me ask
Mr. Mr. Boya, hold on, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, Chairman, go ahead.
We may mention again. I report that I told you guys the president is aware of information coming out. However, he's not aware of the content of the information that came out. Now, my question to Richard is, did you see the content of the information before Chia put it out?
No. Mr. Chia went ahead and acted as strictly on the president that created information. So it was not
So Chia put that memo out without you and the president seeing it.
My brother, the letter went out.
That should be yes or no?
Yes. I want a yes or no. I don't want an explanation.
Yes. Oh, yes.
He said yes.
Okay. Mr. Chia, you have been placed under the bus. And next time, please.
Yeah, Chia was on the phone. Chia was calling. I got to put Chia on the...
The only thing that happened that it was the contents of the letter. But the letter was instructed for you to do.
So before you go, my question to you is, why didn't you inform the Secretary General when you guys were on the call? Did you call him, refuse to answer, or did you not?
You know, you people always like to go for friction between people. Like, you always want to put people here together. And I already identified. The only mistake that was on that call was the Secretary General was not present. So how do you want me to say it again?
Okay.
Do not commit friction. I need to say somebody in bottom line with somebody or bottom line with somebody.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you, Mr. Chie.
Last question.
It's not Chie, it's only now. Hello, Chie.
Hello?
How you doing, Mr. German Chie? The RC chairman in this community. German Chie.
Who can put out a memo without the president and the vice president reading them?
Listen, you just got problem over there. Yeah, you see the chairman say I've been placed under the bus. No problem. I right now I left the bus. I left for the bus station. I in the doorhouse right now. Listen, gentlemen, that's why this conversation is healthy. And you understand me? I acknowledge the fact that the SG was supposed to be on that call, on that faithful call. You understand?
Yeah.
And this is what happened. If you ever work in a paramilitary or something, when the instruction comes on the board, you don't care to know who else was there, but you execute to the fullest. You understand me?
So we're running military base now. No problem.
Listen,
go ahead.
Yeah. Listen, but I take full responsibility for that communication. And in fact, I think the fact that the communication went out and it didn't go down well with the public, I take full responsibility for it because it's in my writing. Is I who author it. You understand me?
Thank
So
you.
I take full responsibility for that. But now moving forward, I believe the administration, everything in life is a learning curve. We'll continue to do this thing until God calls us. So I believe going forward, we're not going to be on air talking who made wrongs or who made right. I believe that we all will work together to make sure the administration, if these things, if we don't experience these things, we will not know we're moving forward.
That's true.
At least, the only thing I'm happy for is this. What happened brought some concerns, and those concerns alerted the presidency to act, to convene a session with another department, at least to listen to the qualms, and he solved the problem. In my view, the president solved the problem.
Okay.
The president solved the problem by putting up another memo signed by him. He spoke him everything and letterhead everything. And in so doing, the onus was on the youth department then, especially the chairman.
Question.
Even in Europe, who has to resign, if he resigns, he can say, okay, I'll reconsider my decision. Because I remember the chairman resigned, he was given a full 24 hours. Or whole 24 hours before I just noted that he was even taken off the executive chat room. That tells you that there was grace period there for reconsideration. You understand me? So I mean, everything, it doesn't have to fall on the place that we want it to fall, but it will gradually, we will get there.
Thank you, Chie. Thank you, Chie. Thank you.
One question.
You got a question? Time is fast, man. Ask a question very fast.
Yeah, Mr. Chie. How you got on the call between the president, the vice president, and Roland Akwe. How you got involved with that call?
This is it. After Roland left
the Logan hours.
Yeah, he left that Tuesday evening, and then we were supposed to be on another call concerning the Basel convention in September. And I'm the chairman on our committee, so there were some concerns I needed to tell because Mr. Buya also functions as Assistant Secretary General at the national level of the Basel Convention team, and the whole Basel people in America. Yeah. So I had concerns. So I thought it was to call him and say, my man, there are things we need to look. The word didn't even come from my mouth good. He just put me on the spot. The president even told him, my man, you were putting me on the spot. I didn't even know who I was on a call with all these people. So he was like, okay, you're on a call with the president and Roland Akwe. I was shocked. I'm like, Roland Akwe just found a Logan hour come from Bashi. Then you on a call with him. I was curious to know what were they discussing. But in the same vein, we are humans. If the vice president had reached out to Roland Akwe to solve some problems, to make him reconsider his decision, he's our brother, and I think it was a good thing. So when that happened, I just listened on the call. So when I listened on the call, then Roland Akwe referred to me and said, "This man, I'm a player." So when he said, "This man, I'm a player," I said, "Yeah, coach, but we just thought that you were going to extend this thing beyond that day so we can play a game of the falling."
So the assumption of Uneboy and a Basel affair taking place was not misplaced.
What?
then the vice president going to come on here and discredit our credit.
There's assumption that the UNIBWA and the Basel organization cross-carpeting this or administration was not misplaced because
when I called him, man, when I called the vice president, that's how he rang me in on. That's how I knew that he was on a call with the president.
There was a Basel affair. The vice president misbehaved. The vice president misbehaved in that regard. He misbehaved.
So the vice president got to apologize to our platform. Anyway, I will do that in my closing.
Anyway, time fast for the chair.
Yeah, we got to close here. I got to go.
I got to go too.
Chair, we got 1 more minute. 1 more minute. We got to go.
Yeah. Mr. Fulula, you work for this government at the level of ULA. So we believe that when you're talking to the officials who appointed you there, you should be a little bit cordial, at least. So, yeah, you got to be cordial because one day, too, we will question you. We will call you the question because, you know, you can't always be adding flame, but it's good to air your views.
Thank you, Chair. Chair now is bringing up grievances, no problem, but we move. Thank you. Mr. Fulula, you're doing a job. Chair, thank you for calling up the table.
That can make me to tell the vice president to not discredit this platform.
So, Mr. Fulula, the vice president have come up publicly to discredit this platform. The platform that made him to be who he is today. He said this platform, in elaborate English, Chichipole platform. He said we don't get fact. The news are not factual. The vice president should understand that this table is the table that make you who you are today. You masquerading this corridor of this community, moving like a pendulum, telling the community members and all the people in the world that this platform is a Chichipole platform. This platform is not credible. I say you need to take those words back. You need to apologize publicly on this platform, and we will not accept an apology on a cell phone. We will not accept an apology in the community. We will accept an apology on open table. You need to come and show your face to this platform and the rest of the world and apologize openly to the people that this platform is not a gossip place. We don't gossip. We give it to you.
I got to do something real quick.
Anyway, I think we are about to close now. Mr. Fulula, go ahead and get a parting statement.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, please pardon me. Let me get my closing. I gotta take it as something real quick. Yeah. First of all, the vice president, Mr. Vice President, we're not here to get any misinformation. Number one, you got Chair involved into a conversation that he's not supposed to be part of. Number two, even that conversation should have taken place just between you and the president gave you the go-ahead to put out a memo. You are going strictly to Chair to put out that memo. It is clear, it is glaring. Or that, you are going directly to Chair to put out that communication instead of the Secretary General. So when we come up here and putting out such information, coming out to defend it and telling us that we just putting out misinformation and the platform is not credible is very disgusting, and you got to take that back. We're not going to say here to really accept that this platform, like the co-chair said, the platform talk on behalf of you and brought you to power. So you mean all the information we put out there that time when we're telling the public to vote for you, you this, you that, it was all misinformation. That's why you're trying to tell us here today. So Mr. Boyer, you got to take that statement back. You got to take it back. I'm very serious about that. So I'll just close on that note.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, go ahead. Do your party statement.
Yeah, I will go ahead. Then you can close. Mr. Kibebo, co-chairman. Thanks for running the show the way you took care of business today. I believe in you and Yam. In my absence or whatsoever, this thing is your thing. This thing is not for anybody. It's for you guys. Let's be frank. The thing we discussed today, some of the things we brought to the public, they are not lies. We just don't want to provide some hard fact information because we still believe in this administration. We are talking about LAI, Liberian Association of Indiana. We still believe in this administration. Mr. Richard Boyer, again, I will reiterate. I do not like to sugarcoat my words, especially when things are not going right. Mr. Richard Boya needs to slow down. He should reduce the sugar and whatsoever he's running on. Again, I told you guys that there are some things that he's not doing well. I mean, I was at the forefront of making him who he is. I still love the man, but I just believe he's been proceeding differently. The fact of the matter, he will come over here because he's been under the microscope and try to say that we are not getting things the way we're supposed to get it. It's not factual. We all have differences of opinion on this platform. That's why I say some things. I say I don't know. We have to dig deep. But the truth of the matter is that memo, Richie was in the know about that. And he just come over here and he exonerated himself that he didn't see the content. That's why I said Mr. Chie was placed on the bus because he's not, the vice president didn't see the content. The president didn't see the content. So Chie just hear that, go ahead and get a memo, and then Chie read a memo in his bright mind and put it outside and say, they're going to see it. I will say it the way it's going to be political, juicy, and whatsoever, I'll put it outside. But I still have that because, first of all, Chie got on the call because of the vice president. Yeah. So are you telling me you put Chie on a call that he was not aware of, and he went ahead and wrote a memo and put it out without coming back to you? Mr. Vice President, I think Chie is doing you a service to say he will take the blame because I know that you are aware of that, the content of that memo. But that's why it is. He's trying to save your face, and I expect that this is I don't call it the grand bassa patriotism or the grand bassa or I don't know relationship whatsoever. Chie is doing him a service today, and that's a great service because Chie just took the fact that okay, I will take the blame.
Yes.
Because the first thing first is when Chie called this man, he's supposed to say, Mr. Chie, I'll get back to you. He can't put Chie on a call like that. The next thing was Mr. Robert Carey is supposed to be on the call.
Yes. Now,
how you follow the proper procedure, the chaos that was created this week, but now, at least you probably would have managed it better. Because Carey would have been on the call, Chie was going to be the one to put it outside, and Chie was not going to hear about it. But you put Chie on the call, and Chie hear about what was going on, and Chie wrote. And Chie was just doing the work. However, he got a little bit too excited. Maybe he got some, some excitement was running in him, or running on adrenaline, because he wanted to read this memo to say it the way he wanted to be. But I'm pretty sure Mr. Richard Boya was aware of the content. I know Mr. Parker wasn't, but Mr. Richard Boya, Chie have saved you today, but go ahead and proceed right there. Thank you again, Mr. XYZ, Jonesy, the greatest XYZ. I'm all the way far away from you, but I love you guys. And Mr. Yanvola, thanks for holding that down. It is a pleasure hanging out with you guys on this show always. I will see you guys when I see you guys. Until then, tell the people that you love them, and drink some wine.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Vula need to come on. Mr. Vula, where are you? Yanvola. Yeah, this open table. Honorable Chairman, thank you for your closing. Your closing was very beautiful.
Go ahead, my brother.
I like it. Yanvola, wherever you are, open table needs you. I'm taking the screen. Open table needs you. Yanvola.
I'm taking care of Nima kind of people now.
You gotta be here. You can't go. You gotta be out close. Everybody leave together. Yanvola.
I'm taking care of Nima kind of people. Open table.
Honorable Chairman is on a vacation. Again. Honorable Chairman, take down swinging. Hey, don't be swimming too much on the beach. Hey, Honorable Chairman.
Mr. Turbo Co-Chairman, we are watching you. Please close. Please.
Yeah, I'll call you, Mr. Chairman. Hold on. Let me close that real quick. Breaking news. As a breaking news. Breaking news on Open Table. The vice president of this community, Richard B. Boya, say Open Table is not credible. Open Table is the one that make it to be who you are today. The vice president said this platform is not credible enough. So that means What we told the people about Mr. Boyer, that Mr. Boyer is a good leader. That means they were not credible. So Mr. Richard Boyer is not a good leader. That's what Richard Boyer trying to say. He said anything that comes from this identical platform is not credible. That's the breaking news from the vice president of this community. And I want to tell you that this media is the one that made Mr. Prince Richard Boyer who he is today. If you can come and discredit this platform, so be it. But we are here. We are not detailed. We are not partial. Mr. Boyer, you need to act right. On to the president. The president, Julius Parker. Mr. Parker, you are a man. Mr. Parker, you are the president. The people believe in you. You got to act as a leader. Don't allow Mr. Richard Prince Boyer to run things behind the back. Why should a letter be written without the approval of the president? Even though the president is in the know, but the content, the president did not see it. I know Mr. Prince Richard Boyer saw the content of this letter, but Mr. Chair, Jeremiah Chair is in the news as well. Mr. Chair, you got to be aware that that bureaucracy does not go like this. You have to learn to communicate very well. And moreover, Mr. Chair, your direct immediate boss should be the Secretary General. You need to get along. You need to get along with the Secretary General. That's how we're going to forge ahead in this community. We cannot allow the other hands to bite the other hands. So be it. This is how we come to today's edition of the table. We say thank you for watching. The chairman is on the beach somewhere in Hawaii. Honorable Chairman, we say thank you very much for joining us on this show. Jan Fulula need to come and end this show. Mr. Fulula, where you are? Jan Fulula. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jan Fulula. You know you're listening over there. You need to end it.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you.
I salute you, Mr. Chairman.
For all my Nimakana people in Indiana, we're having our meeting today. Don't forget, come on to the meeting. I'm getting prepared for y'all. Nimakante.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Just come to the end of today's show.
Mr. Chairman, don't drink too much on the beach. Don't drink too much. I can see your background to the window. I can see everywhere.
The man is on the beach. He's on the beach. Frula, go ahead and end this show.
All right, guys. See ya.